not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And last night on the Mike Mills show, which was an interesting romp, we had a one Painless Risen. And I guess the show topic, you know what I'm saying, before it got deviated into, you know, mushy territory, swampy territory, was the black people's ability to govern themselves. That, you know, that it doesn't matter if you're in Nigeria or Detroit. Everywhere there's black people or predominant black population, you have corruption and disarray, as if we had this market cornered. And you know, the thing is, when you make YouTube videos, it's a one-way conversation. I understand in that when you get on Blog Talk Radio or whatever, you can have an open dialogue and you can see different points of views and different angles. But sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you have a whole lot of people wanting to talk in a short period of time. But there's one thing Painless Risen said that I wanted to focus on. And it's the idea that us black people will have to rely on sucking on white people's bosoms to survive. He said that, you know, we always talk about, you know, the Mexicans are taking over, blacks are taking over. The white population is decreasing. And if white people go away, so is our standard of living, per se. Of our, you know what I'm saying, what makes this country great is white people. And I tell you, you know what I'm saying, if I've never heard such bootlicking, that we won't be able to survive without them. We won't even be able to sustain ourselves. Which is funny, because black people been on this earth thousands of years before the white man. Matter of fact, we helped kick off European culture, but all of a sudden we need them. Now, in a warped way, I understand what Painless was saying. You know, if they're in charge of everything, if they leave, then there will be some sort of void. I get that. And maybe we won't be America won't be an economic powerhouse. Maybe we'll slide down that top 10 list. Who knows? But, you know what I'm saying, black people are walking around with a knife in their back. And we're pretty much saying that, well, if you pull that knife out, you're going to bleed to death, so it's best to keep it in there. So it's best that black people will be treated as second-class citizens, which we are. You know, I mean, there's no getting around that. All information proves this. You know what I'm saying, I can understand that black people can achieve great heights in this country. You know, we can get a Harvard education. We can become millionaires, even billionaires. But people must understand, even during slavery, you know, there were black millionaires somewhere, successful black people. You know what I'm saying, who graduated from Ivy League college of the sort. But we have to look at things as a population-wise, and not look at this one black person made it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the deflection white people use. You know what I mean? When we talk about how racist America is, they always deflect and say, look at Oprah Winfrey. Now they're going to say Obama. That doesn't mean that there's not racism on an everyday in everyday life. That it's not in a daily operation. You know what I'm saying? For some white people. But we need white people. And I've heard Painless Risen use this narrative before in one of his Detroit videos, that he said that black people are like children, and children always want to help. That we just simply can't run things. You know what I'm saying? We get involved in all sorts of boondoggle. We're incompetent. We're incapable. We're irresponsible. And the thing is, whether we like it or not, it will be inevitable eventually black people. You know, and here in America, what I'm saying, there's only two ways we're going to go. Could be, but you know, either we become mixed, you know, like the Brazilians, all mixed and turn into one color, and that's how the outcome would be. But you know, eventually black people will have to govern ourselves without the supervision of white people. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm more than confident that we are capable of doing this. The thing is, the worst of us get represented. First of all, things can't be any worse for black people. I'm like, when you think about black people, especially here in America or everywhere abroad, you just get these negative connotations. Black people are being compared directly to white people when it comes to success, when it comes to household income, college graduate rate, high school graduate rate, and that's unfair. You have to look at what we've been through and the simple fact that, you know, first of all, we can't define what black is. I'm like, are you putting mixed people in that category? And black people, you know what I'm saying, we don't have much of a culture. If we reminisce on our culture or talk about our past, white people will say that's racist. You're dwelling on the past. You never get anywhere. Everybody has to have a past. Now, I understand people are talking about the Asians. Well, the Asians are coming over here. They're being successful. You know what I'm saying? The Lebanese are successful. Yes, but they have their fort. I wouldn't say, but they have their country. You know what I'm saying? Their foundation. You know, over there. They didn't lose their culture. They didn't lose who they are. Black people, we're still trying to figure out where we come from. Some people say we're already here. Some people say we're from Africa. Some people say we're from Israel. Some people say we're from Mars. You know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we can't have, you know what I'm saying, an agreement on, you know what I'm saying, our origins. And, you know what I'm saying, like KRS-One said, he said, we can't be worried about the first man on the first land. Who gives a damn? We have to be worried about the now man with the now genocide master plan. And another option of what America may go into is that white people may just, you know, exterminate non-white people. You know, that's far-fetched, I admit, even for the devious mind of the white man. But history shows us that white people are capable of these monstrosities. And once you get the wheels of propaganda turning, then yeah. But yeah, going to this idea, you know, Painless Risen. And, you know, I'm convinced that Painless Risen, when he watches those old slavery movies, he wishes he was there. He wishes he was sitting right there next to Master's bedside, tucking him in, kissing him on the forehead. I honestly feel that he's envious. You know what I mean? He wanted to be a Stephen. You know, he'll be the type of a servant for the white man. Painless won't go to sleep until his master goes to sleep. And he'll try to be up before his master. And if his master wakes up before him and, you know, starts making his own breakfast, Painless Risen will go into a conniption fit. He'd be like, whoa, 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 master, what are you doing? Put that bread down. Put that knife down, master. No, I got this. You don't worry about it. You just sit down and I'm going to handle all the victuals, and so forth. You know, Painless won't eat until his master eats. Now, one thing about the white man, when he conquered and he colonized the world, you know, he only stopped colonizing because he had no other place to go, or some of the places that, you know, he may have failed at. But if the white man wanted to go to another planet and they said, we're going to build a new America on Jupiter or Mars or whatever, and he said that nobody's coming with us, and they said the only way a black person can come with us is that he has to be our servant. He has to be our slave. He has to devote his life to servitude. And I believe Painless will do that. I believe Painless will get on that shuttle with the white man. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole fact of him not being able to live under the white man's umbrella. You know, and that's a sad state. And that's the ultimate victory. The ultimate victory against the people you want to conquer is not the fact that you enslave them and imprison them or economically keep them down, but put them in a position where they need you, where they can't even fathom life without you. That means someone has complete power over your mind and body. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, that's is a mental slave. You know, that when you look at your own self and your own people as just being inferior, that, you know, when you're saying like, man, without these people here, you know what I'm saying, how are we going to make it? You know, and the thing is, when you talk about America's greatness, everything, every plus about America, you contributed to the white man. Like you praise the white man. So therefore, if the white man wants to take credit for all of America's greatness, white man will also have to take accountability to everything that is detrimental in American society. Guns, drugs, prostitution, alcoholism. I'm not saying, I understand that human beings must, I forgot the word I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying, may take account of their own actions. If you don't, then you're a beast. But still, you know what I mean, the white man, you know what I'm saying, he helped evolve all these things like guns and made them like a permanent part of our society. I don't know who invented the gun. There's conflicts on whether Europeans invented the gun, whether the Africans or the Chinese. I'm talking about the first prototype of a gun. And, you know, they say that, you know, some people had guns made out of wood and like bamboo or whatever and shot out rocks, you know. But, you know, we all know that the white man took that gun and he manufactured and he made all type of versions. You had the Gatling gun, Sam Colt. I'm like, you know, we just have so many different types of guns. I'm not a gun fanatic, but, you know, Magnum 44, 45, 22s, you know what I'm saying, llamas, and so forth. And so, therefore, that, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, falls on the white man's head. You know, if you're going to give the Europeans all this credit to how great the society is and the things that's bringing this society down, violence and the tools of violence, you got to hold him accountable too. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. You know, slavery, oppression. I'm like, this country got, I remember Painless saying that slavery wasn't lucrative. That's funny. How did the slave masters become rich? If it was not lucrative, then it would cease to exist. You know what I mean? Before the wheels really got turning. I'm like, and that's what they did. You know, when they in the early days, they didn't even have a solid form of currency to even pay people. And people got off that boat and they said, "Hey man, I want my log cabin," and so forth. So now you have this almost disposable workforce, black people that you can't pay. Now think about having a farm with farm animals. Now I understand that there are certain farms that are not lucrative because the farmer don't know what he's doing, but imagine if the cows can milk themselves. And imagine if you could tell a mule to paint that barn and a mule would pick up a paintbrush with his mouth and paint that barn. Imagine if you can get a pig to pick cotton. You know, and that's the thing. So we were treated as farm animals, but we had the intelligence of humans. And also, just like I said, slaves are livestock. You know, so it don't matter how many slaves died in that boat. You can get that back. The slaves interbreed with one another, and you know, produce more generations of slaves. So painless mathematics are all off. But this concept of us needing whites and ignoring all the haphazards whites have caused black people or just brown people all over the world. You know, I'm like, that's how they got their power. They didn't get into power completely by being nice, by being fair, by being just. It's ruling with an iron fist, coming over here taking people's resources and you know what I mean, just taking their resources to build up their own empires. And then once they've managed a level of living, you know, of technology, of first world or ism, you know, when you have flushing toilets and this solid infrastructure, then we can look at them with awe and like, oh, with greatness. But you have to look at how did they obtain this? You know what I mean? Let's say if there was some magical border cutting Europe off from the rest of the world and white people never expanded. What kind of place Europe would be? Would anybody on the outside be envious of Europe? That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching and sally forth.